I had always been drawn to the mysteries of the night, to the secrets that hid within the darkness. So, when the opportunity arose for a moonlit hike, I eagerly seized it. Armed with a flashlight and a sense of adventure, I set out to explore the trails that wound through the woods near my town. The night was clear, the moon a brilliant orb in the sky, casting its ethereal glow over the landscape. The trees stood tall and silent, their branches swaying gently in the breeze. The air was cool and crisp, carrying with it the earthy scent of the forest. It was the perfect setting for a solitary adventure. As I walked along the narrow trail, my flashlight's beam cut through the darkness, illuminating the path before me. The rhythmic crunch of leaves beneath my boots was the only sound, a comforting cadence that kept me company. There was something peaceful about being alone in the woods at night, a sense of solitude that allowed me to disconnect from the world and immerse myself in the natural beauty around me. But as I ventured deeper into the woods, an unease began to settle in the pit of my stomach. The shadows seemed to grow thicker, the rustling leaves and distant hoots of owls taking on a more sinister tone. I shook off the feeling, attributing it to my overactive imagination. I continued to walk, the path meandering through the trees. At times, I would stop to listen, to soak in the symphony of the night, the chirping insects, the whispering wind, the distant howls of a lone wolf. It was a melody that was both haunting and beautiful, a reminder of the wild world that existed beyond the confines of the city. As I rounded a bend in the trail, I caught a glimpse of something ahead, a figure standing amidst the trees. My heart skipped a beat, and I instinctively tightened my grip on the flashlight. The figure was just a silhouette, obscured by the darkness, but there was something about its presence that sent a shiver down my spine. I hesitated, my mind racing to rationalize what I was seeing. Maybe it was just a trick of the light, a play of shadows that had conjured an illusion. But as I continued to watch, the figure stepped forward, its form becoming more distinct. It was a man, tall and slender, standing with an eerie stillness that was more unsettling than any movement could have been. I felt a mixture of curiosity and trepidation as I approached the man. I raised my flashlight, its beam cutting through the darkness and revealing his features. His face was pale, almost ghostly, his eyes fixed on me with an intensity that sent a chill down my spine. He wore old-fashioned clothes, a suit that seemed out of place amidst the trees and leaves. "Hello?" I called out tentatively, my voice carrying on the night air. The man didn't respond, his gaze unwavering. I took a cautious step closer, my heart pounding in my chest. "Are you lost? Do you need help?" Still, he didn't speak. I felt a growing sense of unease, a nagging feeling that something was deeply wrong. But I couldn't tear my eyes away from him. It was as if his gaze held me captive, drawing me in with an irresistible pull. "Hey, are you okay?" I asked again, my voice shaking slightly. I was close enough now to see the details of his face, the sharp angles, the hollow cheeks, the lips that were curved in a strange smile. There was something otherworldly about him, something that defied explanation. And then, without warning, he turned and began to walk away, disappearing into the trees. I stood there for a moment, my heart still racing, before I realized that my sense of curiosity had overcome my fear. Without thinking, I followed him, the beam of my flashlight cutting a path through the darkness. The woods seemed to close in around me as I walked, the trees towering overhead like silent sentinels. I called out to the man, my voice echoing through the night, but he didn't respond. It was as if he was a specter, a figure from another world that had briefly crossed into mine. I continued to walk, my steps guided by an instinct I couldn't explain. The man moved gracefully, his steps silent as he weaved through the trees. I kept my distance, a mixture of fascination and fear keeping me from getting too close. As we walked, I began to notice something strange. The woods around us were changing. The trees seemed to shift and move, their shapes warping and distorting in the darkness. The ground beneath my feet felt unsteady, as if the very earth was shifting beneath me. I stopped, my heart pounding, and turned to look back the way I had come. But the path was gone, swallowed by the shifting landscape. Panic surged within me, and I turned to face the man, my voice trembling as I shouted, "Where are we? What's happening?" The man didn't answer, his smile widening as he continued to walk. I felt a surge of anger, a frustration at his silence and his apparent control over the situation. "This isn't funny," I yelled, my voice cracking with fear. And then, as if in response to my outburst, the man finally spoke. His voice was low and haunting, a whisper that seemed to come from all directions at once. "You came seeking answers," he said, his words echoing in the air. "And now, you will find them." I stumbled back, my heart racing as a sense of dread washed over me. I didn't understand what was happening, didn't understand who this man was or what he wanted from me. But I knew that I was in danger, that I had ventured into something far beyond my comprehension. Without another word, the man began to move faster, his steps almost a blur as he weaved through the trees. I turned to run, my flashlight beam dancing wildly as I sprinted through the shifting woods. But no matter how fast I ran, I couldn't seem to escape the man's presence. It was as if the forest itself was conspiring against me, the very trees reaching out to ensnare me. I tripped and stumbled, my hands and knees scraped and bleeding, but I didn't stop. Fear fueled me, the desperate need to escape overpowering any sense of exhaustion. And then, just when I thought I couldn't run any longer, the woods opened up into a clearing. Gasping for breath, I collapsed to the ground, my flashlight clattering beside me. I turned to look back, expecting to see the man's figure emerging from the trees. But there was nothing. The woods were still and silent, as if the man had never existed. My heart pounded in my chest.